Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name is Anya and today I'm going to be bringing you my 32-week pregnancy update. So since last week, actually my swelling has gone down tremendously. I actually could see my ankles again. I have experienced just a little tiny bit, but not much at all compared to the last few weeks. I was really surprised because last week I mentioned in my update that I thought that my feet were just gonna permanently stay swollen for the rest of the pregnancy, and fortunately that has not happened. Actually, when I was editing that video to put it up, my feet were completely fine. I don't know if you noticed, but I cut my hair, so it's definitely a little bit shorter. I did ask for it not to be shorter, but I did ask for a lot of layers, and actually this is what came out of that whole ordeal. I really do like it. I'm still kind of getting used to it. I've never been the type of person that goes into the hair salon and immediately comes out thinking, wow, I look amazing. I've always been the type that it takes a few weeks for me to actually be okay with my decision. And I think that once I get used to doing it on my own, like, you know, washing it myself, blow drying it myself, getting the hang of it myself, then is when I'm really going to be like, okay, I've stepped into the comfort zone with this new haircut. But I haven't had it in this type of style in a really long time. I don't know if you could tell, but there's a lot of layers, and of course there's that balayage situation that I did a couple of months back, so still trying to get the hang of all of it put together. But generally I do like it. I think it's a good, it was a good decision. Also, it feels a lot lighter, like a lot, you know, less weight on me, which is great. I do have a lot and very thick hair. It's naturally curly, so I think it's gonna be good for me to have just something a little bit more light now that I am towards the very end of my pregnancy, especially now that it's so hot outside. And yes, it's so hot. This actually about 2 weeks ago, I was speaking with somebody on the phone at work, and I mentioned how hot it was here is almost in the 90s, and the person said to me, oh, over here is in the triple digits, kind of like, what are you crying about? And I was like, oh my god, I cannot even believe. I've never been the type of person that's like super like hot, but for some reason, and I think of course it's due to the pregnancy, I am like super okay with the AC, and I sleep with, you know, minimal cover, and I think that's comfortable for me right now. If I do sleep with anything more than that, I get super sweaty and super hot. So very comfortable with my AC at night these days. And yeah, so let's see how we can manage the weather for the rest of the summer while being very pregnant. So I had a doctor's appointment this week, and I was there at 12:30, which was the time of my appointment, but I didn't get actually taken in until about 1:10. I think they were having some sort of emergency with another patient. But I was there in the doctor's office waiting room, and I was literally falling asleep. I mean, it's literally around the time where I get the most tired, and I was sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, let me just take a quick little cat nap while I wait. So I was actually just kind of dozing off in the process. Then I get called in, and you'll find out while I'm actually telling you this whole like prelude to the story very soon. I get called in, they get my weight, and they take me in. Is everything okay? Are you feeling good? Perfect, good. She takes my blood pressure, and when she took my blood pressure, it was 80/50. And immediately she just kind of quiet down and didn't say much. And then a couple of seconds later she said, do you usually have low blood pressure? And I said, yeah, I usually have low blood pressure. She said, it's 80/50. And I was definitely surprised. I mean, typically I am in like the 110-80 range, maybe 170 type of situation, but 80/50, she was like, what is going on? So then I told her, well, I was falling asleep out in the waiting room. Like I was super out of it. And she said, oh yeah, maybe that was it, you were like super relaxed out there. But everything was fine. I asked the doctor about it. I said, is that something that I should be concerned about? And she said, nope, absolutely not. It's absolutely fine. Just make sure to stay hydrated. All of the general recommendations that they give you. If it was above where it should be, it would be of more concern. But having it a little bit lower, that fluctuates. So that was perfectly fine. And then I was also feeling fine myself at the time. So it really wasn't anything to concern her, and it really didn't concern me that much either. As far as my weight is concerned, so hold on to this one. I am now weighing 150.6 pounds, and that's almost 2 pounds since the last time I saw her 2 weeks ago, which she actually said was right in line of where I should be. I've actually gained throughout my whole pregnancy 29 total pounds, and she said the range for total pregnancy weight gain would normally be between 30 and 35 pounds. Now, since I started a little bit underweight, she was anticipating that I would gain above the 35-pound mark, but not too much. And so she said that about a pound a week is what I should expect to see now over the next few weeks into the end of my pregnancy. So I did do a little bit less than a pound a week this time, and she was perfectly happy with that. She was like, that's great, that's perfect. But the reason why I'm like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe this. I mean, with Sebastian, I actually reached 155, about 155, I would say, on the day that I delivered. But it's difficult. It's so difficult for me to be carrying around all the extra weight. I mean, I don't know what other way to put it. It's just uncomfortable. It's just very, very uncomfortable. And I try to walk around and continue to stay active and be, just act normal. But oh my goodness, like getting up and out of the sofa is difficult. Getting out of the car is difficult. Going up the stairs at like the same speed from beginning to end is difficult. Reaching my feet in the shower when I'm trying to wash my feet is difficult. All of these things are really difficult, and I'm really trying to enjoy the fact that God has blessed me with this pregnancy, and I remind myself of that constantly. But I have to be honest with you, like having all of this extra stuff is difficult. It is difficult. There's just no other way to put it. So she also asked me if I was experiencing any pain, any contractions. I told her no. Any bleeding? Nope, nothing. She was very, very happy with that answer. She told me to stay extremely hydrated. She said, especially during these hot months, that being dehydrated could actually induce fake contractions. So she told me to continue to stay hydrated and make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to drink as much water as I can and stay active in the process through the end of my pregnancy, because that will help me in the end for labor. So I saw the chiropractor twice this week, and she actually graduated me from the twice per week schedule to once a week. She said I was really holding on well to the adjustments, and I didn't have to go twice a week anymore. Now I'm going to be going only once a week, and I think that's great. I think that I've also experienced, as I mentioned last week, a little bit of a better flow with my sleep, but I have noticed that if I don't get up to do my walks in the morning, I get extra tired throughout the day. And I'm talking about extra tired, I need a nap type of tired. And as you know, I don't like the naps because they make me feel even worse or even more tired when I get up than when I go into them. So I've been trying to kind of manage my schedule so that I can get to bed a little bit earlier and get myself a little bit extra sleep that way, instead of trying or having to incorporate a nap in the middle of the day, because my body's just like, this is it, girl, you need to like lay down right now. So one of the things that I asked the chiropractor was if I needed to keep on going after I delivered. And I know what you must be thinking, right? Of course she's gonna tell me to go back after I deliver, but she did tell me yes, that's right, I should go back after I deliver. But she did explain a little bit further that, you know, sometimes it could just be really beneficial to continue to have that alignment process taking place until your body just 100% gets used to the fact that that's the way it should be, and then, you know, periodically go back to trying to adjust it. Now, this is the thing, having gone through labor already and realizing what my body went through, I do know that it's a pretty traumatic experience. So I definitely could see how this chiropractic work, the readjusting of my body, could benefit me. So I'm definitely planning to continue to do it. It does scare me a little bit, especially the very few weeks after having delivered the baby, because I feel like my body was so sensitive to everything after I delivered the last time, and I'm not sure, you know, like laying on there and having her squeeze and crack me all over, and how that's going to make my body feel. She also mentioned that the baby's first visit would be free. So my brand new baby girl would be getting a free visit and adjustment. At the beginning I was like, what do you mean, why does she need adjusting, right? And she mentioned a couple of things and they all made sense to me. I mean, she's a professional, I am totally not, but I will share it with you. She mentioned that when you actually go through labor, it's not only a traumatic experience for the woman pushing out the baby, but it could also be very traumatic for the baby itself. Now, it's the most natural thing in the world to push out a baby and all of that. I completely understand, and quite honestly, I didn't have any issues whatsoever with Sebastian in terms of all of the things that she mentioned could possibly go wrong. But she did mention that a lot of babies, when they get pushed out of the birth canal, if the situation is very fast or very slow, it could cause different types of issues. So they do recommend that you get them checked out, because these things could then in turn affect sometimes the colic, like, you know, babies that get colic, and it could also affect the way the baby is able to move their neck, and that directly affects the breastfeeding situation as well. If the baby's uncomfortable putting their neck in a certain position, then they're not going to be able to latch and eat properly. So she did assure me that they don't do any cracking or shoving of these babies. It's very gentle. She said it was only with fingers, like fingertips, and that they just feel everything out and adjust them that way. Let's see what happens. I haven't made my mind up one way or another. I still also have to talk to my husband about what he thinks about it. We'll keep that option in mind and see how or what we decide to do moving forward, especially if we see things are not quite where they should be as they were with Sebastian. So let's talk about the baby's development. This week I am completely all over the place, so I'm actually looking it up right now because I did try to get organized for this, but I hope that some of you are mamas out there that are like, yes girl, we understand. You try to plan, you try really hard to plan, and sometimes it just does not work. So I hope you're giving me kudos for actually like sticking to my timeline here. The baby is the size of a Florida pomelo, and I have no idea what that is but essentially that's what it looks like. So it says the baby is getting closer and closer to being born and now measures in at about 18 inches. Sebastian was actually born at 21 inches, so that's amazing to me that this baby's could be already about 18 inches long. That's really amazing. Her head has a full coating of fuzz and her skin is filling out. It says one of her favorite activities right now is to suck her thumb, and I tell you that triggers me because I actually sucked my thumb until really late, and that's not good. No good. So baby, no sucking of the thumb, not even in mom's belly, please. It says baby is really practicing for the big stage, breathing and swimming like crazy. She's also probably already head down and is preparing for delivery, although that is not guaranteed. Over 90% of babies born in the 32nd week of pregnancy survive. So if the reality of a person in your womb hasn't sunk in yet, it really should soon. I definitely hope that the baby doesn't come at, you know, the 32-week mark, but you know, I'm very, very excited to know that now that she is 32 weeks along, there's a much better chance of survival if that were to happen. She is head down, the doctor confirmed when I went into the office, and I've tried to continue to like learn how to actually gauge it myself, because I think that's so cool and I get really excited about it. I think it's really exciting to kind of feel and see like, oh, here's her head, here's her little bum, here's the legs and the hands. The doctor tried to show me all of that and I was like, wow, cool, amazing, now I could know how to do it. And then I went home and I was like, what? Where's what? The app says that now it's time to start baby proofing the house, and that's kind of funny because I mean, we have a 1.5-year-old, right? So we think we've done absolutely everything that we can to baby proof the house. For example, this morning I was actually removing every single household cleaner that I have that is not natural and non-toxic that Sebastian can get into. He opens up every drawer, he opens up every cabinet, and the last thing that I need is for the second that I'm not looking, for him to ingest something that could potentially be harmful or lethal. On top of that, I'm also trying to make sure that I am just moving away from toxic products in general. So I'm just making sure that everything that I have is natural, that I've made myself, that I know works, and I know the ingredients that it has won't actually harm him or her. This whole baby proofing thing has not only happened now in these last couple of days, it has happened, you know, for the past 1.5 years. So I hope that we're in pretty good shape, but I must be honest, like there's absolutely no way to know for sure that you are 100% in the clear, because every single day you're like, oh my god, like how did you even think about doing that? And then you take proper measures to eliminate that next like new possibility. So it's an ongoing process for sure. She has been moving so much. I know I mentioned this last week, but this week has been like on turbo. I don't know if it's because of the different things that I am eating, if I'm doing something that's kind of triggering her to be really active, but the girl is active, like very, very active. She moves around all the time. I feel things poking in and out of places all over my belly that is, I'm like, which part of you is there now? Like this morning I woke up and right underneath on where my stomach is, I should say, was like a big ball, and I'm like, what part of you is that? Is that like a leg, a knee, maybe an elbow? Maybe you turned around and your head is right there, but it was like a pretty sizable ball right underneath my left boob. I'm like, what is going on in there? She's super active and I love it. So let me show you my belly. What about you? How far along are you if you are expecting? Are you super excited to see and meet your new baby? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to start a conversation with you. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! I'm looking to see how many weeks I am today. I think it's 32. That's right. It's my 32-week update.